Teams from
Elyria, Lake,
Rootstown
are here this morning for the Nordson Academic Challenge. And away we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Nordson Academic Challenge. I'm your host, Rob Powers. Thanks so much for being with us. Here's the challenge. For the next 30 minutes, our teams will be tested on their knowledge of subjects like math, science, history, a few others as well. So one more time, let's hear it for our schools, Elyria, Lake, and Rootstown. The winner today will be the team with the highest point total at the end of today's 5 rounds. The 3 highest scoring teams this season will then be back to play in our championship game and try to win a grand prize of $6,000 for their school awarded by our friends at Nordson. So let's get started. Here comes the lightning round. Here we go. It's all 3 teams compete in this round. I'll ask 10 questions. They have a common theme. We award 20 points for a correct answer. We take away 20 points for a correct or incorrect or no answer. Everybody set? Despite access to 24-hour news channels, people still like newspapers. We ask you to identify the cities in which the following newspapers are published. Got it? Here we go. They read the morning news in this Texas city known as Big D. Elyria.
Dallas.
That is correct. The Press-Gazette is the hometown paper for the NFL Packers in this city. Lake.
Green Bay.
That is correct. People read the Bee in this California capital city. Elyria.
Sacramento.
That is correct. Al-Akbar is printed in this largest Egyptian city. Elyria.
Cairo.
That is correct. The Current is the daily newspaper in this Connecticut capital city. Elyria.
Hartford.
That is correct. The Evening News provides the news in this capital of Scotland. Elyria.
Glasgow.
Edinburgh. The Inquirer is printed in this city where the Declaration of Independence was signed. Elyria.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia is correct. The Tribune is the daily paper in this largest Midwest city.
Chicago.
Lake, was that your answer? Go ahead.
Chicago.
Chicago's correct. People read the Sun in this city, home to baseball's Orioles. Rootstown.
Baltimore.
Baltimore is correct. The final question in this round comes from News 5 meteorologist Trent McGill.
Good morning. I am so excited that I get to ask you today's final lightning round question. Here it is. Reports have shown that Cleveland gets about 10.2% fewer sunny days than this city, the largest city in Michigan.
Elyria.
Detroit.
Detroit's the correct answer, and that's the end of our round. Way to go, everybody. We'll be back in our second round of today's game after this short break. Academic Challenge. If you'd like more information about any of the schools that appear this season, you can scan that QR code you see in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Do it with your cell phone. Now, that code takes you to news5cleveland.com's Academic Challenge page, where we have links for all of the schools that appear this season. Time for us now to get to hot picks. One at a time, I ask each team 8 questions selected by a captain from another team. A correct answer here worth 20 points. No penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. But before we get to the questions, let's meet our players. We start with Elyria. We start with Anthony, the captain.
Hi, I'm Anthony. I'm a senior. I've done competitive robotics for going on 6 years now, and I'd like to thank our staff and administration here at Elyria.
There you go. Welcome, Anthony. Isaac, you're up.
I'm Isaac. I've played soccer for my whole life, and I would like to thank our advisors, Miss Runyon and Mr. Sekar, for all the work that they've put in this year.
Very well done. Thanks, Isaac. Hi, Seth.
I'm Seth. I'm a senior. I'm the battalion commander of the Elyria High School JOTC, and I'd like to thank alternates. We have one in the audience and a couple who could not make it here today.
Awesome. Thank you, Elyria. For your questions, we go to Adam, the captain for Uniontown Lake, and you've got an open board, Adam. 1, 2, 3, or 4?
4.
4. You got it. Elyria, these questions are all yours. All set? Here we go. Most nations share borders with only a few other countries, but 10 countries surround what largest South American nation?
Brazil.
That is correct. Unable to file a complaint with shipping companies regarding engine noise, what pearl-producing mollusks simply close their shells?
Oysters.
That is correct. Launched in 1989, the Galileo spacecraft spent 14 years in space, 8 of them studying what planet whose orbit is 5th from the sun. Answer?
Jupiter.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. The sun's energy is released through the process of fusion, during which hydrogen is converted into which of these elements?
Helium.
That is correct. The North Magnetic Pole, as opposed to the geographic pole, was located in 1831 by what explorer who gave his name to Antarctica's vast ice shelf?
Ross.
That is correct, Sir James Ross. An oil lamp eternally illuminates the grave of what medieval Italian poet who wrote the Divine Comedy? Answer is Dante. Dante. That's okay. We go back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Taking positive square roots, evaluate this expression, giving your answer as an integer.
9.
9 is correct. Competing claims to a small barren rock called Parsley Island almost caused a war between Spain and what North African nation where Rabat is the capital?
Morocco.
Morocco is correct. Heck of a round, Elyria. Way to go. Okay, our second team today comes to us from Uniontown Lake. Adam, you're the captain. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm involved with Model UN, and I'm an Eagle Scout, and I would like to give a huge thank you to my brother Aaron for getting me involved in Academic Challenge.
We thank him too. Thank you, Adam. Way to go. Hi, Mackenzie.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie, and I'm a junior. I'm a part of the Model UN and soccer teams, and I'd like to thank Mr. Liverick for being our advisor.
Welcome this morning. Great to have you. Hi, Kaylee.
Hi, my name is Kaylee. I'm also involved in band and Model UN, and I'd like to thank my friend Josiah for being here.
There you go. Josiah, thanks for being here. Your questions, Lake, come to Rootstown. Captain Anna. Anna, we're down to envelope 1, 2, or 3.
Can I do envelope number 2?
You sure can. All right, Lake, these are all yours. All set? Here we go. Japan has set up a special tournament for women who'd like to compete in what type of wrestling previously reserved for heavy men?
Sumo.
That is correct. According to an American folk song, John Henry died while holding in his hand what same tool associated with the Norse god Thor?
Hammer.
That is correct. To read the inscriptions inside Egyptian pyramids, you'd have to learn what type of picture writing used by ancient Egyptians.
Hieroglyphics.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these plants is regarded as the simplest?
Ferns.
Blue-green algae. Blue-green algae, the answer there. When Star Trek's Enterprise was traveling at warp factor 1, it was moving at 186,000 miles per second, the speed of what electromagnetic phenomenon?
Light.
That is correct. The number of publishers, British and American, a number of publishers, British and American, rejected what now classic George Orwell novel featuring villainous pigs?
Animal Farm.
Yes, it is. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Simplify this expression, giving your answer as an integer. Answer?
4.
4 is correct. Charged with embezzlement, future writer O. Henry became a fugitive by fleeing to what Central American country whose capital is Tegucigalpa? It is Honduras. Nice round lake. Good job. Okay. Our third team today from Rootstown, Anna, the captain. Congratulations. Tell us about yourself.
My name's Anna. I'm a junior at Rootstown. I participate on the golf and marching band programs.
Good for you. Welcome here. Hi, Anthony. Tell us about yourself.
I'm Anthony. I'm a senior. I'm part of the golf, bowling, baseball, and quiz bowl teams, and go Yankees.
Wow, okay. Autumn, you're up.
Hi, I'm Autumn. I'm a soccer captain, and I'm a member of NHS.
Thank you, and welcome to all 9 of you. Thanks for giving up your time to come here and be with us on our little program. For your questions, Rootstown, we go to Anthony, the captain of Elyria. Anthony, we're down to envelope 1 or 3?
Let's go with 1.
You got it. Okay, Rootstown, all yours. All set? Here we go. Prisoners had to walk across the Bridge of Sighs to enter the prison in what Italian city, famous for its many canals?
Florence.
Venice. Venice is the answer. Robert Fulton, who built the steamboat, also determined that what navigational device, which always points north, works as well underwater as on the surface?
Compass.
That is correct. In the 1680 Pueblo Revolt, Pueblo Indians used knotted ropes, each knot representing one day, to coordinate their attack on what Spanish settlement that is now the capital of New Mexico?
Albuquerque.
Santa Fe is the answer there. That's okay. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Although one hears the word calorie most often used in connection with food, calorie is defined as a measure of which of these?
Heat.
That is correct. Expressing a realistic political philosophy, what ancient Macedonian conqueror said on his deathbed that he willed his empire to the strongest?
Alexander the Great.
That is correct. Letter to My Daughter is actually a book by what author of I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings?
Maya Angelou.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Find the area of the right triangle whose legs are 9 and 8.
36.
That is it. On March 6th, 1521, the expedition led by Ferdinand Magellan reached what G-initialed Pacific island, the largest and southernmost of the Mariana Islands?
Galapagos.
Guam is the answer, but hey, that's a heck of a round, and we are off and running. We'll be back with more academic excitement right after this. Hey, welcome back to the big show. Today's judge, courtesy of Cuyahoga Community College, that's Christopher Hedrick. He's the preceptor and academic coordinator for clinical education at Tri-C. We're so happy you could join us this morning. Good to see you. Before we get to our next round, let's take a look at our scores so far. We start with Rootstown, third place, 220 points. In second place with 260 points, it's Lake, and leading the way right now, 340 points, it's Elyria. But hold on, it's time for the Picture Perfect round. All three teams compete in this round once again. I ask 8 questions, all of which have some kind of visual element. For every correct answer, we award 20 points. But for a wrong answer or no answer, we take away 20 points. Hands on your buzzers, eyes on the big monitor down front. All set? Here we go. It would take more than salt to melt what kind of huge river-like mass of slow-moving ice? Lake?
Glacier.
That is correct. Choice. Is the reaction you see here an addition reaction, a formation reaction, or a double replacement?
Addition.
Lake?
Addition.
That is correct. According to the title of this Van Gogh painting, these people are about to eat what vegetable whose lack was linked to a famine in 19th Elyria?
Potatoes.
That is correct. Which of these numbers is a prime number? Rootstown.
131.
That is correct. Millard Fillmore signed what law, part of the Compromise of 1850, that ordered the return of runaway slaves? Rootstown.
The Fugitive Slave Act.
That is correct. This flag with its unusual crested Elyria?
Uganda.
That is correct. This type of seashell shares its name with what kind of small fruit tree whose branches are extended as a symbolic peace offering? Elyria.
Olive.
That is correct. This cover of Cleveland Magazine features spicy ramen noodles from one of Cleveland's 25 best restaurants. According to legend, noodles were brought to Europe by which medieval travel writer who traveled the Silk Road to the court of Rootstown?
Marco Polo.
That is correct, and that's the end of that round. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. We're going to mix it up right after this. Welcome back. We get to say hello to this week's advisors from our teams. From Elyria, Jeremy Secor and Ann Runyon are here. From Lake High School, Brent Laverick's here. Ken Wolf's not here, but Ken, thanks for everything. And from Rootstown, it's Naomi Rand. All of you, thank you so much for getting the kids here, for everything you do throughout the whole season. Time for us now to mix it up. One at a time, I ask each team 6 questions. A correct response here worth 20 points, no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 6 questions correctly in this round receives 25 bonus points. Elyria, you are up. All set? Here we go. It's no secret that you'll get 20 points if you can find in this phrase what light-sensitive membrane that lines the inner eyeball.
Retina.
Retina is correct. Here you see 3 different units of liquid measure, or rearrange them in order of size, beginning with the smallest.
Pint, liter, gallon.
That is correct. Arrange the letters in this friendly phrase to name what large gorge that's a major tourist attraction in Arizona.
Grand Canyon.
That is correct. Combine the chemical symbols for these two elements and you will name what type of insect of interest to a lepidopterist.
Moth.
That is correct. Which of these ships was sunk in 1915 by a German submarine, thus speeding America's entry into World War I?
Lusitania.
That is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. To complete this quotation from Malcolm X, place in both blanks what same word that identifies the specific rock associated with the Pilgrims.
Plymouth.
Plymouth is correct for the bonus points. There you go. All righty. Uniontown Lake. Now it's up to you. Got it? Here we go. This sounds healthy. See if you can find in this phrase what metallic element whose atomic number is 28.
Nickel.
That is correct. These are 3 rights granted by 3 constitutional amendments. Arrange them in chronological order.
Trial by a jury, end of slavery, women's suffrage.
That is correct. You can avoid evil by rearranging the letters here to name what scientific theory published in 1859 by Charles Darwin.
Evolution.
That is correct. Combine the chemical symbols for these elements and you will spell the name of what 5th century king of the Huns called the Scourge of God.
Attila.
That is correct. Which one of these organizations is a part of the United Nations?
Security Council.
That is correct. That was big. This is for the bonus points. To complete this quote from the philosopher Spinoza, add what word that precedes security in a government program to protect retired American workers?
Social.
Social is correct for the bonus points. All righty. Oh, Rootstown, the pressure's on. Are you all ready? Here we go. Study this phrase carefully, and you can find the name of what metallic element whose symbol is Fe.
Iron.
That is correct. Rearrange this list of animals in order of their speed over a short period of time, beginning with the slowest.
Sloth. Rabbit. Cheetah.
That is correct. To get rid of this phrase, rearrange the letters to name what first artificial satellite launched by the Russians in 1957.
Sputnik.
That is correct. Combine the symbols of these elements to get the name of what British explorer killed by natives in Hawaii in 1779.
Cook.
That is correct. Which of these phrases was often used by 19th century critics of our purchase of Alaska?
Clay's blunder.
Seward's folly. Sorry about that. Here's the final one. You can complete the title of this documentary with the 4-letter acronym for what U.S. agency that runs the space program?
NASA.
That is correct, and that's the end of a heck of a round. We'll be back with our final and deciding grab bag round. It's all coming up after this.
6:30.
All right, here we go. Time now for the grab bag round. All 3 teams compete in this round. I ask as many questions as time allows. For every correct answer, we award 30 points, but a team will lose 30 points for a wrong or no answer. Again, this is for all 3 teams. Hands on your buzzers, eyes on the monitor when we need it. Take a deep breath. All set? Here we go. Archaeologists might get wrapped up in their work while unraveling what type of preserved body found in Rootstown.
Mummies.
That is correct. While Lake Erie saw major fighting in the War of 1812, a critical American victory was also won on what other lake, straddling the Vermont-New York border? Rootstown.
Ontario.
Champlain, Lake Champlain. One of the British ships involved in the Boston Tea Party had what same name as a modern Ivy League college in New Hampshire? Answer is Dartmouth. With sand dunes rising to the height of 660 feet, this is Ruba Kali Desert, located primarily in what Middle East country where Riyadh is the capital? Elyria.
Saudi Arabia.
That is correct. The subway system in Mexico City includes a metro stop named for what Aztec emperor who was captured by the conquistador Cortez? Lake.
Moctezuma.
That is correct. If a 6-foot person casts a 4-foot shadow, how tall is a tree that casts a 10-foot shadow at the same time? Rootstown.
8.
15. What spooky threesome used eye of newt and toe of frog to brew up trouble in Macbeth? Lake.
Sanderson's.
The witches, the witches. This warning comes from what Scottish author who earned a lot of money from his novel Treasure Island? Rootstown.
Stevenson.
That is correct. Choice. The liver stores carbohydrates in an insoluble form called lymph, cellulose, or glycogen. Rootstown.
Cellulose.
Glycogen is the answer. Many countries have stars and that's it. That's the end of our game. We go right to the scores. From there, we start in third place this morning with 350 points. It's Rootstown. In second place, 445 points, Uniontown Lake. And the winner of today's academic challenge with 575 points, it's our team from Elyria. Wow, that's a game. Be sure to join us next time. We feature teams from Chippewa, Rittman, and Talmadge. Thanks for watching this one. I'm Rob Powers. Study hard. We'll see you right back here next week.